Welcome to your Discord Syndicate FN Hangout. I am the captain, your Captain RG to the motherfucking 3, coming back from Vegas, PLS 369, back home finally after like a month out on the road. Oh, did you see these beauties? Did anybody get to, let's see, how do you do that? You go like this. No. Anyway, these are hand rolled R to the G to the 3 cigars that we gave out at the, if you were a golfer or you just showed up at the golf event and come and hung out with us, you got to get one of those cigars. Hold on one second. Hand rolled. Let's see here. You're going to want to celebrate. Okay. All right. Very cool. Let's see. I got some people in the green room already. I'm not seeing too many people running into the comments here, but is everything on? SJ, is this thing on? Are we running? Anyway, wow. What a freaking week. The blood in the streets is still flowing. Everything is looking more and more positive on a political front for crypto. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but crypto's looking good. And we just got done with a major event. If you didn't see the stream earlier before this, we just did. We were supposed to live stream the event, but we ran into some technical difficulties and we weren't able to do so. But what we were able to do is save the video, and I think that's being processed and put up for those of you who want to see the panels and the speakers and what happened there, which I'm sure you do. That'll be up and available for you. For those of you who went, you know the value in going there versus just watching it on live stream. The networking portion of it, the being able to sit down and talk with all the projects that were represented there, just phenomenal. I can't say enough good about it, not just because it was my event, but because of what it's doing, what I'm seeing it do, the people that attended and the value that they got out of it. Hang out, guys, in the green room. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to pull you up in just a second. I appreciate you all coming in. So the event went off just beautifully. The attendance, the event sponsors, the people that were there. It was scaled properly. We didn't get over our skis on it. We made sure that we brought value at all, corners of it. It was all PulseChain focused, Hexican focused. You got value out of it, and you got to meet some really good people. And even the VIP events, the VIP room, the food, it was just all the nines. Again, a couple of technical difficulties that I take full responsibility for. Let's see, can I show you guys? So what happened with the technicals was we thought that we could budget and get our internet. We tried 2 different sources, and we failed miserably. The hotels out there just want to gouge you for some of these things. So it was very difficult to get that to get the internet right. So we failed there, but we will not fail again. We will make sure that works in the future. But I think, let's see what else we had. So in a past life, I used to do presentations where we did in-person presentations. I think the largest that I did with my equipment was about 800 people in a room. I was involved in one where we did 10,000, but that wasn't my equipment. My equipment that I run here in the studio was about 18 years old. So let's see if we can get the, oh, can you see it? Look at that, everybody. We have a new soundboard. We have a really nice new soundboard and interface, everything to make sure that everything is awesome. And multiple camera angles. So yes, apologize for those of you who are looking to catch that. But we are improving. But thanks again to everybody who showed up, the community who stepped up, you guys. you know, on top of the sponsors coming in and you know, really picking up the slack here and making sure that we had a great event. You guys, the public, the Hexicans that showed up and PulseChains that showed up, I really appreciate you. And thanks for all the kind words, the gifts that you brought me, the t-shirts, the things, and really makes everything that I've done here worthwhile when I hear your stories and the appreciation for the stuff that we're out here doing. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys asking for it. And next year, we're going to make it bigger and better. That's for sure. But keep it to scale. Keep it to scale. Don't need to go head over heels out there and doing stuff that, you know, we don't. That, how would you say it? We're going to under promise and over deliver. That's what we like to do. So make sure that we keep doing that. So anyway, with that, exciting week. I'm going to bring some people on because they're hanging out in the green room. Could you guys, if you don't mind, I mean, if you don't want to show your faces on camera, that's fine. But would you really quickly just show me in the green room who we are? So I know you got like clothes on and stuff. Yeah. Hey, what's happening, bud? I got you there. Thanks, Haunted. Anybody else, you guys? Dave, camera's telling me no. Ceiling, J Gold, good. All right, guys. All right, well, good. They all got clothes on, and they all look like we're about to launch into the FN Hangout here. SJ, everything good? I'm gonna bring them all up. All right. Looks like she's panicking. No, everything good. All right, everybody. Your FN Hangout. By the way, this is your stream. You want to come on? You want to talk? You want to bitch? You want to gripe? You want to be excited about something? Talk about the PulseChain tour if you went. Come on in. This is your show. I think SJ's got the link in there. We'll throw the link in there one more time for everybody. Come participate, hang with us, bring your stuff here. All right, everybody. This is J Gold. This is Dave, the Professor, and Haunted. What's up, guys? Am I gonna look at avatars the whole time? You don't want to show your faces? That's okay. You don't have to, but it feels weird sometimes. There you go. What's up?
There you go. Haunted.
I appreciate it.
Someone's got to step up. So
it's not always easy to, you know, throw your face up there, dox yourself and whatnot. But yeah, I appreciate it myself. So what's going on, fellas? What do you guys got for me this week?
Man, Dave, is Dave there?
Dave is there.
Absolutely, I'm here, brother. I'm here. You got me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, we've got some exciting things happening. We've had exciting things happen, and we've got future things coming up as well. So yeah, so we're Up and Up X, the PlusX ecosystem, and we're here to talk about that. You know, I love your energy, Captain RG3. I love your energy. I love your style. It's always good. It's always good listening to you. And thank you for having us on here. I'm a late comer. I had no intentions of coming in here. I literally woke up like 20 minutes ago going, it's happening now. I literally jumped out of the car. I'm in my car now because the kids are at home making so much noise. And I'm like hiding in my car. So I'm like, it's sort of like a slap. I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm here.
Yeah, so we appreciate you being here, Haunted.
Awesome, Haunted.
Let me jump in here real quick and do my disclaimer. All right. So FN Hangout has always not been afraid to talk to anybody in the space. And the reason for that is because I'm not here to shill anybody's stuff. I'm here to let people talk. Here to let people have discourse. I'm here to let people prove themselves. I'm here to warn everybody that, you know, the blockchain is tough. The blockchain is a place where you can lose your money like that. A blockchain is a place where you can go up, you know, bunches of X's, like 10,000X, but you can lose 90% of that value in a matter of weeks, days. So I want to tell you that these guys here, first of all, they participated in the PulseChain tour as a sponsor. So thank you guys for you know, being part of it. That's just another, you know, feather in your cap for wanting to be part of the community, for wanting to, you know, lean in and show your support for, you know, those of us that are out here just talking about the different projects and whatnot. So these guys have got their own project. They're here to talk about it, here to answer questions. But again, I don't I do not rep, sponsor, condone any of these things that these people are doing. They're all cutting edge technology. But I'm telling you right now, the best of the best are in the PulseChain community. So anybody who's building on here, I want to talk to them. I want to know what they're doing. I want to see what's happening. And I think that you, the community, deserve to also, and to see who they are, listen to them talk, and get a feel for it yourself before you go and jump in or invest in anything out there. It's good for you to know who they are. So them just coming up here is a testament. So guys, go ahead. I'll let you do your 5-minute elevator pitch and we'll start answering questions. Maybe some community members will come in here in a minute too.
All right. Why don't I take a stab at this, RG3? Mm-hmm. By the way, thank you so much for everything that you do, everything that you bring. The attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is the currency of true wealth, my friend. Without gratitude, there is no wealth, no matter how many X's you have. So thank you, RG3. Up and UpX are actually part of an ecosystem called PlusX. People are in crypto because they want X's, plus X, adding X's to your bag. Now, PlusX is a system of tools. And one very interesting tool that I think people would like to know about, or utility protocols, is called Validator X. And that really is about making the foundation of PulseChain great. And I'm going to throw it to Haunted and Dave to start unpacking what exactly is this Validator X. By the way, RG3, do you run your own validators? Question.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then Dave, take it away, because Dave also runs his own validators.
All right. Yeah, I'm here. There we go, brother. Yeah, I early on, was listening to the chat. Hey, I'm going to do my part, help protect this chain through a validator in my office. It's been running since I was figured out how to freaking set the damn thing up. Because of course, the tech on that is not knucklehead friendly. So following the scripts of David Feeder and Dip Catcher and some of them other guys, our Dip Slayer, got it running. It's been running. Since this damn chain started, and I think I've accumulated about 8 million pulse on that thing. Now, the problem with running my own validator is that 8 million pulse, it's just sitting there. I could pull it off the withdrawal address, but it's not compounding. I can't get it to make another validator for another few more years, right? So, we're getting about 10, 12% yield on that thing. Very nice. But in Validator X, those 8 million pulse are working because we compound, because we're in there with 600 so many other people. So Validator X is a way to do liquid staking. You take your pulse, you join our validator pool, and it last week the yield was 18%. It beats the one I have in my office, but hands down.
So let's back into that and talk to new people out there who don't understand some of the things you just said. You said liquid staking. You said you were talking about a validator. So what you guys have done is come up with a solution, because it takes 32 million pulse to create a validator, just like the Ethereum chain requires that you put a certain amount of ETH in, and so a validator costs you 32 million pulse, and on top of that, the equipment. You guys have come up with a solution so that people don't have to come up with that 32 million. Am I correct? And
absolutely, you could come in with a couple hundred pulse and you could join that system if that's what you want. There's no minimums.
No minimums. And when you say liquid staking, what does that mean? What does that mean to the user?
Go ahead, Haunted. Throw out your liquid staking.
So the liquid staking is that you become a validator in the ecosystem. So you become one of the 4,000 or 48,000 validators that are out there, and you have now a receipt token for your validation. So that receipt token acts as pulse, very similar to pulse, like it follows the price of pulse. And so you're holding it liquid, and now you can do more things with your liquid staking rather than just being in the validator itself. So you go become a validator, you use the process. It's like a one-click process. Your pulse becomes a validator, and you receive a receipt token for your validation.
So let's look at what that physically looks like. So the end user is going to go to your website, your protocol. They're going to connect their wallet to it.
Yes, sir. They'll connect their wallet to it. And then they input the amount of pulse that they want to put in, let's say 100 million pulse, and then they hit okay. So then once they hit okay, within about once the transaction is approved, within a minute or two, depending on the gas fee, your pulse has literally become a validator if it's above. If you put 100 million, it is above 32 million. So then your pulse is already working for you, and you're working together in a pool. And what advantage of working together in a pool is, because the way validation works is there is always it randomizes and picks a validator to build a block. And if we're lucky enough to build a block, you get more pulse. Now we're doing it together as a group, and the chances are, the bigger we are, the bigger chances we are to being picked to build a block. And the more often we get picked, the higher APR we have. And that's why we currently have 18% APR compared to doing it yourself. And if you're a small validator, you're probably only getting 10, 11%.
So let's, because this is DeFi and people want to cut out middlemen, but there's reasons for it too. There are reasons for doing the things that you're showing people to do. So I want you to give good arguments as to why, so that you don't get fudded out and everybody comes out sideways. So when the pulse goes into your validator protocol, which is being pooled, obviously, they're going to get a receipt, and is their pulse going to stay in their wallet as a liquid stake, or is it going to be how is that receipt transferred, and what does the pulse do from their wallet? What does that look like, so that we can kind of dial that in?
Yeah. Okay. So when you become a validator, so once you give your pulse, you have UPLS, which you can collect after 48 hours. So you get a receipt token for the portion of the pool, because we're all pooling together to become validators. So the portion of the pool. So the only way that someone can get UPLS the only way someone can mint UPLS is by inputting pulse and becoming a validator. And you're talking about middleman and stuff like that, right? So here, this is the case where you can look at it this way. If I want to become a validator myself, I've got to use my own computer, my own internet, which may not be reliable, may turn off, may A, B, and C. Or we can come together and do it with the validators, and that's where the middleman. You're not relying on your computer running on the side of your sitting on your computer. You're not relying on that computer there with your internet and outage and whatnot. You're pushing the risk with Validator X, which our devs have been validators for since 2017 on many chains. They've been validating privately for themselves on 12 other chains, and now 13 with PulseChain. So our devs have been validating for a very long time on many chains, and they have the experience. So what you're doing is really putting your pulse in a team that the people who built Validator X, which is PlusX, that have been validating for a very long time and have the experience as well.
Yeah, and just tap on that. You are taking your pulse and you're giving it to a third party. You're giving it to the Validator X. You're giving it to them, but they give you a receipt for it, and the receipt token is immutable. I mean, if you put in 1 million pulse, you're going to get your receipt token, and nobody can mass mint that UPLS. It's an immutable code. It's been audited. I mean, it's a one way in and out with Pulse and UPulse. There's no way to do that, and then. In terms of the security, not only do we have Validator X, we have well over 800 validators running within our own ecosystem to support the Up and UpX tokens. So the Validator X is not a token. We have 2 tokens. We have Up and UpX, and we have a huge treasury that's supporting those. And we're not on here to shield you guys to go buy our tokens, but we are shielding some of the protocols we're offering for the community, because those people who have Pulse sitting in their wallet, you can go provide liquidity, but then again, that's providing risk. You just gave your liquidity to a third-party contract, right? So there's some risk in providing liquidity. Anytime you take your tokens out of your wallet, there's risk. And that's, Richard's saying about, picking up pennies in front of freight train, but you're not going to get a yield by sitting something in your own wallet. You're going to have to interact with some protocol, whether it's, the Hex contract, you've lost your Hex, it's in a Hex contract, and you build trust with those things over time. And we've seen Hex running flawlessly forever. So it's like, we have a lot of trust in the Hex contract. And the same thing can be said with providing liquidity on PulseX. It's like there's a lot of evidence that that's very successful. And, we're going to need to build that trust with, people who want to validate as well. We understand that. And that's where our devs come into play. They've been doing it forever. And our own money's on the line because we have huge treasuries. We have about 50 billion Pulse in the Up and UpX ecosystem. And all of that's actively in validators. So, and our devs sleep really well at night. They're paying their families with the system they've built over those, 12 different chains that they were on and all their validating and the nodes that they're running. So they know their security is top notch. So, we've had internal audits and we've had, immutable code and AI audits and everything you can do to, prove to people that we're as secure as PulseX, we're as secure as Hex is. But again, it's going to take that trust factor. The one in my office, though, is making about 11% yield. The one I have on Validator X is making 18% yield. So, I mean, there's that risk reward adjustment that you put into any decision you make in crypto.
So explain, and there's a big deal right there. So when you validate on your own, you got your own, I've got my own equipment. There's, like you said, 11% return. Now you guys are claiming 18% return. And I know you talked about, because of the pooling, because of the size of your validator sets that you have, explain how the 18%, the 11% turns into an 18% a little deeper so that.
All right. Well, that's my area right there, brother. That's my area. So my degree's in mathematics. So Haunted called me up when he started this we were in liquid loans and we were listening to the chat and Haunted came up with this Haunted strategy. And it's like, okay, this guy's pretty smart. And then I get a phone call from a guy from Australia. It's like, what the hell is this? So we start talking, but here's how compounding works. So I have that validator in my office. I put 32 million Pulse on it and it's gained 8 million, but that 8 million is not working for me. It didn't jump back into a validator. When you pool all these Pulse together, we make about 32 million Pulse every 3 days. So every 3 days we make another validator. And so then that validator, so my yield's working. And so my yield just keeps compounding. And if we just keep stacking validators on top of each other, now I'm getting yield on that extra validator, then the next extra validator, and all those extra validators are providing the yield because the compounding effect.
There you go. That's what I wanted the audience to hear is that because they're, when my validator every day, I see my Pulse grow, and either I have to wait until I can create a new validator with it, or, I move that Pulse somewhere else. What you're saying is that your protocol automatically takes that yield and compounds it back in. That's why the yield is growing. That's what you're telling me, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And our internal validators that we're running for the UpToken and the UpX token, they vary, depending on if we get to build a block. So some weeks they're, 16%, some weeks they're 17%. But because we have so many validators within our ecosystem, we're building a lot of blocks. So we get the extra fees, plus we get to build more validators faster. So that's why we can get to that 18%. And then the other big point is we don't scrape off half the yield for ourselves. We take the minimum fees to pay for this, the infrastructure, the servers, the internet. We're only scraping off about 9% of the yield, whereas other validator pools are scraping off, close to half the yield. They set it up, they do the work for you, but they want half the money. It's like, no, we want the people in PulseChain to win. So our whole mantra, our ethos is we want to give the tools that the whales have to the common people, and we don't want to rake them over the coals when we do it. So we're building things that are going to help the common man generate wealth within PulseChain, and that's what Validator X is all about.
RG3, I just want to add 2 things.
Yeah.
1, many liquid staking protocols will charge you all kinds of fees for staking and unstaking. We don't charge fees. The other thing, RG3, that's very interesting, and I know you're looking at how does PulseChain stack across other blockchains. We did some research on ChatGPT, and we found that Validator X's 18.5% APR is actually the second highest liquid staking yield across all chains. Cosmos beats us out by 1%. So
nice.
This is very interesting. People looking for liquid staking across chains will notice, wow, they can get 18.5% by getting some Pulse and just putting it into Validator X. Very
and
low
there's no time minimums. You don't have a lockup like, oh, I got to lock it up for 7 hours or 7 days or 20 days. There's no lockup period. You can come in with 1 million pulse. 2 days later, you get your receipt token, and if you want out, you can get out. It's be in as long as you want, no fees. And here's the other thing: some liquid staking tokens, they do kind of like the incentive token kind of thing. They give you your yield. They take some of the pulse, the native token, but they'll give you a third-party token that they're minting. So there are some other protocols out there that they give you what I want to call an artificial yield because it's in a second token. We want you to put pulse in and get more pulse out. That's what we're about.
And it's just the actual transaction fee that they'll be paying to move it in and out.
That's it. Confirmation, regular MetaMask move money fee.
and no penalties. No
For
penalties.
RG3.
Yeah.
And of course, the no slashing or any of that because you guys are on that end of it, taking care of it with colo servers or whatever it is that you guys are doing, right? So that brings up a question here that Falcon's asking, and I'm gonna add to the question just so that so where and who custodies the pulse, and you guys have already really kind of explained that, but what's what is the transparency to the end user? What will they be able to see on chain? Because and I am definitely not accusing you guys of anything. I'm just asking the hard questions because you guys came up here and you wanted to get in front of the community, and this is what you need to do. I remember back in the day, some of my old grifter buddies back in 2015, they were doing the cloud mining. And what they would do is they would get one server and they'd start cloud mining and they'd start, showing people what they were doing. And then they just get millions of Bitcoin, investors coming in, and they still only had the one server and they were robbing Peter to pay Paul. What transparency do you guys have, or what on-chain evidence do people have, or transparency do they have to see what it is you guys are doing or how the pools are running? What is it that they have to monitor that?
If you want to share screen, we can show you all the contract addresses that go with this. But yeah, everything is completely transparent. That's one thing we pride ourselves on, is transparency. So I don't know if I can share screen with you if you approve me there.
Go ahead. Let me see here. Is this it? Yep.
Yeah, that's our girl right there. So yeah, this is our landing page for our ecosystem. So you can see that we've got these products. Here are 2 tokens, Up and UpX, and we have these other products. And LPX we're going to want to talk to because that's going to save PulseChain, in my opinion. But here's Validator X. You hit the launch pad. It's going to take you to basically this page here. And you can see our yields 18.7%. Now this is a 1 week average. Every 7 days we calculate what the return was for that day. And then we go. But if you hit this little plus sign right here, boom, it brings up the UPLS contract. That's the contract that prints the receipt. It gives you the validator withdrawal address where you can see every transaction. And you can come over here and hit the question mark. And if you want to hit the question marks, you can see all the docs. They have all the audit information and so forth down here. So, I think you got to slide down to the bottom where it says, find your audit here. Anyway, I think it's right here. Contract risk. Here's the audit. You can click all those buttons. But the big picture for us is, if you do want to see here's the wallet, here's the contract address, and you can see it took 32 million pulse and went and made another validator. It took 32 million pulse and went and made another validator. Looks like somebody here probably withdrew. You can go into the transaction. They probably cashed out their UPulse and they withdrew. And then here's somebody else depositing. So all of the contract address is completely public. That's one of these contract addresses right here. That's this withdrawal address. So yeah, we're as transparent as we can possibly be. And the pulse does lie in this smart contract, just like when you send your hex to the hex contract, it's aligned within there. Richard doesn't hold it, but the smart contract is holding it, and it's one way in, one way out in terms of the UPulse contract. So that's that. Now, Haunted is going to want to talk to you about this new feature over here as soon as you were done, parsing out the security risks with Validator X. And again, if nobody wants to use this, we understand it. We understand that, risk versus reward. If you want 18.7%, we do have 687 validators. We have 21 billion pulse locked up into this. But if this is not your cup of tea, we're okay with that. But you do have additional options. We built in this new feature that that's what we presented over at the PulseChain conference, was this new feature we've put in here. So we're probably going to want to talk about that, because now you have the option of taking that yield, and maybe you don't want all of your yield in Pulse. You want to take part of your yield, scrape off like 50% of your yield, and send it and go purchase Hex, or go purchase Pulse X or Ink or any of the RH tokens, or any token you want. You now have the option of scraping some of your yield and acquiring any token contract you put in right here. So, you put in a token contract, you tell it, hey, I want to take 80% of my yield. And now all of a sudden that yield you're earning will purchase the token you want, and it'll send it to the address of your desire. So that's the newest and greatest feature we have for UpX.
Yeah, let me just add to that. What we're doing here is allowing people to use their Pulse to accumulate Hex or Ink or Pulse X with the free Pulse that they make by becoming a validator. So you become a perpetual buyer of Hex if you're using the system, just by using your becoming a validator. Because what do people become validators? They become validators because Pulse is inflating, and where does the inflation go? To the people who are supporting the network, people who are validators. Some of the people who are validators either go sell their yield on the market and put it to DAI to go pay for their the infrastructure, or they go buy more tokens on the system, or just keep compounding them into more validators, right? So they're using the Pulse, and they're getting the inflation on PulseChain. So Pulse is inflating. It does burn as well by transactions. That goes a little bit deeper. But it's inflating. It goes to the people who become validators, and then you can use that free Pulse that you're getting to go buy more Hex. And what we've done is done it in a way where you can automate that. You can automate using your Pulse to get that free Pulse to now go buy Hex off the market, or Pulse X, or so on and so forth. You can choose any token you like. And that's the beauty of becoming validator through Validator X. If you want that option, if you don't want that option, you want to keep compounding, great, just keep compounding. But we've made this option so everyone on PulseChain can benefit from it.
Yeah, no, I think that the more validators we bring on, the more Pulse that's not sitting in wallets and that's out validating. I think the better for the ecosystem. We've already, I think, surpassed just about every other chain that's out there as far as how many validators we do have. I'm sure there's a couple others out there that are as big or bigger, but we're right up there on top as far as validators go. One other thing, a little housekeeping here, to get into it a little deeper, and then I'd like to find out some more stuff. Hold on a second. Hit the wrong fat finger, that one. Okay. Van Dale says, does Validator X use their own infrastructure or bare metal cloud? Very curious on the infrastructure. And that's Van. He's from the Project Pi. So he's one of your competitors. Oh, you guys got an answer for that one?
Yeah. So they're using their own computers. They've got their own computers with a backup of a cloud. Dave, do you know more about that?
Yeah. They have their main servers. Like we said, they run nodes and validators on 12 other chains besides ours, and so they're using their equipment. They have all the hardware, but each one of the sub devs has their own backup on their desk as well, and then they have a cloud backup for in case shit goes really bad and the entire world shuts down with power. But those backup computers are in different locations, so it's not all located in one place. So, the chance of having a shutdown and anything catastrophic happening to the time, it's like, oh, we've been offline for an hour. That doesn't happen. Again, these guys are they're professional validators and node operators for the last since 2017. So 8 years, 9 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look into the slashing side, I was speaking to a Gamma about it. Being offline, and I'm just in general for like you guys who have their own validating at home, right? But if your internet or turns off for a couple of hours and then turns back on, that's slashing there. You don't get slashed until X amount of hours.
Yeah.
And betting offline is not as bad. The only time that it becomes really bad, the slashing, is if you're actually being malicious and trying to do something bad to the network.
Yeah.
That's when slashing becomes something major and you get hit really, really hard, right? So bad actors. Being offline, you've got X amount of time to go back online before you do get slashed, and it's generally like this is what I remember. What Gamma was telling me, that if you're off by X amount of days, it doesn't take you that long to recover what you've lost.
Yeah, it's almost just like just running it in reverse is from what I've been
Yeah.
told. It's like
Yeah.
the ground you lose is just the ground you gained over the time that you're
Yeah.
losing. So it's not really that big of a deal, unless it's like multiple days, weeks, month, and you start digging into the profits or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's
and
malicious stuff that gets really slashed versus the
that's it. And it's the bad actors, right? And that's where even being a validator for yourself. And go. But if anyone wants to be the validator and do validation at home, please go do it. Right? I want more validators. We want more validators on the network, and go do it. Because don't get scared by the slashing, because most likely you have no clue how to be a bad actor. Right? Just follow the scripts, and you're good to go. Right? And that's the beauty part. You don't know how to be a bad actor, so you can't be a bad actor.
So let me give a real world situation right now that I'm in. So I bought a battery backup system for my validator. Not that helps me if the power goes out and the internet's down too. I've got to be able to provide internet and power. So, but just in case something that interferes with that and not my internet. But one of the problems that I just had is I have a hardware issue right now where I cannot see my screen, meaning that my ports on my validator either burned out, aren't working. Somehow, some way I've got to be able to get back in there and fix the screen port, because I can't see. Now I can see my validator is running, it's still working and everything's fine, but I don't have a screen and I don't have access to a screen because it's one of the ports is bad, or the ports are bad, or something's been switched in there. So, and I have no way of digging into it. I'm going to have to find somebody that can help me do it. So there are issues with hardware that make validating difficult too, and something that you guys obviously are coming up with a solution to. But one other thing that I'd like to switch the conversation over to is you guys, period. The most important thing in community marketing, in community development, in blockchain, especially in crypto, is getting to know who you guys are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and just getting to know a little bit. You've already told us there's some background there with your developers and your hardware team that they've worked on other chains and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about each one of you, why you're here, how long you've been around the Hex community, PulseChain community, and why you're doing this.
Yeah, so I hopped around the PulseChain ecosystem and around the PulseChain sacrifice. A little bit before it, I was into some meme coins and whatnot. Before, I thought Bitcoin, Ethereum was just on exchanges, right? I didn't know about the DeFi side on Ethereum and stuff like that. And then when I learned about the DeFi side and smart contracts, I was like, oh wow. And I got so intrigued by how smart contracts work and what they can do, what's possible, what's not possible. And I started digging deeper because for many, many years, because I saw Bitcoin at $90 back in the day. I was just watching the price of Bitcoin. And then Ethereum, the price of I was just watching from the outside, and I had no clue about the DeFi side. It was just, I just never looked into it. And then the day that I learned about all this stuff and the smart contracts, I was like, man, I love this shit. This is wow. This is amazing. Well, the things you can do and the capability of what's possible on the blockchain and things you can build is amazing. And I got into the PulseChain sacrifice, and I was sitting in the voice chats of PulseChain, listening and learning for like months before I even said a word in the PulseChain voice chats. And then I spoke up, and then I started learning, asking questions and stuff like that. So yeah, got into PulseChain, sacrifice for Pulse, and then everything just started rolling from there. And then, we have UpX now. They're doing amazing as well. So yeah, that's my story. Dave?
Okay, I'll step up. Retired math teacher, thought 35 years was, I didn't retire prior to PulseChain. I unfortunately I didn't get into Bitcoin and all of the run up of all that good stuff. So I did get lucky enough to catch a hold of Richard, but I only dabbled my toe into Hex because it's like, okay, this guy's a little eccentric, and I don't know if this thing's going to work out or not. So I'm not one of them Hex millionaires. But I was around and I was paying attention, and I fell in love with the math because of the cryptography of it. So SHA-256 algorithm. How do you get a secure wallet transfer? How do you prevent the double spend? And so all of the math behind it was very intriguing. The UpX thing is a very good deal. We have basically it's the same idea. The Validator X is just something we built for the community. If they don't use it, that's okay. It's just a tool for them to use. We're not out there. We don't make a whole shitload of money off of Validator X. That's not why we built this thing. We built it for the community. And so the same thing goes with everything we have here. Haunted talked me into joining him on this journey. And it's like, okay, well, it's real important that I don't want any founders tokens here. I just want to go out there and create something that's going to help the community win. So that's what we've done here with UpX. We created basically a community pool of funds, and it's like, let's go do all the things the Wells do that I can't do by myself because I don't have the freaking funds to go do what they're doing. I can't go, be a 100 block validator in a year because my little validator in my room is not going to build 100 blocks. It's just not going to get called that often. So it's like, let's do stuff for the common man. Let's help them have those tools of the wealthy, and the ecosystem's just developed. What we're going to share next is this LPX thing. Validator's nice. Go do it if you want. Great. But this LPX thing that our dev has created that we're using for UpX is an entire new type of liquidity that hasn't existed for the little guy before. The Wells have done it forever. They've been automated market makers forever. But what we're doing with LPX and what we're going to do for PulseChain and Hex and this entire ecosystem, and again, it's for the community. It's not a token. And you're not going to pay a huge fee to go use this thing, but you're going to love what you hear about LPX when Haunted starts rolling through that here in a minute. But yeah, I'm a retired old math guy with a bunch of grandkids, still hanging out with crypto and loving what I'm doing because I know that this chain is going to be the freedom chain. This is the chain that's going to allow everybody to get away from that middleman and just live your life the way you want to live it. Jay, your turn, babe.
Thank you, Dave. RG3, for the past 25 years, I've worked with Fortune 100 CEOs and their teams, and in particular, helping them unlocking their human potential, their leadership potential, and their team potential. That's what I do on a full-time basis. And I got exposed to crypto and Richard February 2021. And what caught my eye was, wait, this founder is written about personal growth. This is what I do. This is my area. So that was kind of like my whole connection of, wow, there's a founder that has strategies for helping people growing not just their financial wealth, but their life, their fitness, their nutrition, their mental models. And that really caught my eye, and kind of I went into the rabbit hole through that particular lens. I didn't know about crypto afterwards or before, but that kind of drew me in. And I've met so many incredible people on PulseChain. And that is remarkable, from all walks of life, right? In all stages of growth and development. And I found Haunted and I found Dave, and I loved what they were doing. And in particular, how to really give back to people. I'll tell you something, RG. My first week in crypto, I found Hex. I put in 5 figures into Hex, and I had a question. I'm curious about how am I going to unstake my Hex? And I put it in the chat, and a admin DM'd me and said, I can help you, but I first need to verify your wallet. And that made a lot of sense to me. And I went into what looked like a very, very legit website. And next thing I know, all my stakes were emergency end staked. So that was 7 days into my crypto history. So everything that you do, I just want to say, everything that you're doing to help people understand the risks of blockchain, it's real. It's very, very, very real. And that for me was a wake-up call, and I had it 7 days in.
Yeah, that's it still goes on. This space is rampant with it, and people have to be extremely careful, about what they do, who they speak to. I just got done with a stream and I told everybody, I said, there is no tech support. Nobody will call you. Nobody's going to help you. The person that onboarded you will be the person that helps you. Or if you're asking for help, ask for help in public, in a public space, in a public Telegram room, and don't let anybody DM you and try and, take you here or here, just give me your hand. Let me show you where to go. This van right here, there's some candy in there for you. You gotta really be, if you're out here alone and on your own, find big communities, find big community Telegram groups or on Twitter or whatever to ask questions, and do not accept DMs or do something to somebody that sends you a DM and wants to guide you on how to fix it. Take public sentiment, or use the person that onboarded you or somebody that you think you can trust. There's public figures out here that have been doing this for a long time that will send you to the right place. But be extremely careful, because that experience that you had is not uncommon. It happens all over. But I'm really intrigued, and I hear the way you speak, that you're a man of progress and self-improvement. Just how you present yourself, even though I can't even see you. It's near and dear to my heart that as we build a community, because we all, there's this buzzword in crypto, the community, and there's a reason for it. The community, as we're doing here, exposing you guys and asking the hard questions and helping bring you to market by letting you be transparent. The community has to do all this. You guys aren't vetted by the market. You guys aren't vetted by, marketing plans and where you market your product. You're not on, you can't market your product at a Super Bowl commercial. These things just don't work. It takes community and stories and people teaching, learning, and developing together. So self-improvement to me is important, because, when you work on the whole person, the mind, the body, the spirit, the finances, and the relationships, that's like these 5 pillars that I like to talk about. Then you build strong community, you build a strong marketing team, because that's really when it comes down to it, when people say that buzzword community, they're talking about the real marketing team. And that's what's important about the Hexican community. That I've been here from the beginning. I was one of the first guys that I had the first meetup where we all got together, and those guys are still my friends. And it's about bringing people together, making them stronger, making them trust one another, because trust is important. And, Dave, you would understand this. Trust is a mathematical equation. You've got to give a certain amount of trust to gain trust, and you can wreck trust extremely fast, or you can build trust. And it takes time to build trust. So the whole person approach to me is important, and getting to know you guys and who you are. And that was one of the reasons why I leaned into Richard, because I saw that the first things that he was trying to do was to help improve people's lives, telling them to get off video games, telling them to eat better, telling them to, don't trade, do all these things. I was like, this guy gets it. He understands how to develop and build the whole person in this space, because we need it. We desperately need it. And now I think that one of the things that's really lacking in this space is leadership, to teach people how to have or how to build integrity and trust and worth and all those things. Yep. And I see a lack of it in this space, because let's face it, the internet, the trolls, the basement dwellers. It's very easy for them to go out and destroy the space or dirty it up for sure. So I appreciate someone like yourself coming in and speaking about the whole person, because I think that's important.
RG3, trust is earned in ounces and lost in pounds. And I would love to come back and talk to you about trust as the currency of leadership. T plus P plus E plus D multiplied by W divided by E. I'll just save it for when we speak.
Yeah. Well, you've read The Speed of Trust by Covey, right?
Yeah. So absolutely, I love to speak to you some other time about this whole topic of leadership development, personal development, finding your purpose, finding your passion. And I have to say, I think you can hear it in Dave and Haunted. These are two very passionate individuals. And just as a segue, RG, Dave is super passionate about this LPX. So I think he's chomping at the bit to tell you about it.
Well, let's hear about the LPX.
LPX, single-sided staking. You know, Richard promised single-sided staking, right? Well, I don't want to say promise. No expectations. Don't go down that damn road. Okay. So anyway, we heard about it though, and it's like we were intrigued. It's like, okay, this sounds really nice. Well, it's here. LPX is single-sided staking. You take your Pulse X, you put it in an LPX, and guess what? Your yield is in Pulse X. You take your Hex, you put it in LPX, your yield is in Hex. You take your Ink, put it in LPX, your yield is in Ink. It is an automated market maker. It is your personal arb bot is basically what it is. It's going to look for inequities in the market. So let's say you set it up with your PHEX token. I don't know. Am I allowed to say PHEX or do I got to say Hex? You know, I don't want to get in trouble here, but you know, you take your Hex token, it doesn't matter which one it is. And you take your Hex token and it looks in the market and it sees all the Hex pairs over in V2. It's like, okay, here's Hex pair. And it's like, hey, this one over here, it's trading for like 3.3, you know, maybe one PHEX will get you 3.3 EHEX. And then you look at another pair and it's like, hey, that pair over there, one PHEX is getting you 3.38. Oh, well, shit. Then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go sell my PHEX and I'll go get 3.38 EHEX. And then I look at this other pair and it's like, hey, it only cost me 3.21 EHEX to go get my PHEX back. And it just makes that little arb route. And it's like it sells your PHEX and gets you 3.38. So let's say you say 1,000 of them. You get 3,380 EHEX out of that 1,000 PHEX. And then it turns around and it spends 3,220 of them to go get your PHEX back. So you just made an ARB opportunity and you've got more PHEX and you didn't do a damn thing. It's all automated for you. That's LPX for any token on the internet. I mean, any token on PulseChain. That's what LPX is. Haunted loves this thing as much as I do, but it is a tool the Wells have paid development teams to build for themselves, and it is now here for everybody to use, just like Validator. You know, we can't all validate, but you can now go validate if you want with Validator X, or go use one of the other liquid staking protocols. I don't care which one you use, but get your Pulse working for you. This one here,
yeah.
Get your tokens working for you. Haunted, your turn, babe.
Back to LPX. Look, LPX, when I first looked at the smart contract and I started seeing it work, we got LPX running on mainnet. So we're testing it on mainnet with UpX. So, for example, UpX to die. And I'm watching this thing and I'm like going, this is, you know, because what it does is it sells high, buys low, sells high, buys low. So it accumulates stable coins as the price goes up. And then when the price comes down, it rebuys it off the market. And it's kind of like providing liquidity. So every time the price spikes up, it will sell a little bit up on the way, waiting for the price to come down and then rebuy it. So you are a liquidity provider, but in a sense where we call it a dark pool. And it's injecting liquidity on the way up and then injecting liquidity on the way down. And we're watching it. I'm like, Dave, dude, this thing's working amazing. Come look at it. Like, we're running numbers on this thing and we're like, man, we're looking at like 30-40% APR just using LPX. And you know, that goes down a route of like, it goes through many things, like, but LPX is basically, simple terms, selling high, buying low. And as the price, and what it does is supports the price, because when it's selling, it's infinite on the upside, but it's not when it's buying, it's not infinite on the downside. So we can rebuy everything it bought back and supporting the price that of the token. If you just look at recently the charts now, we just had a dump in the chart. There was a big volatility, right? And if you look at UpX token to a Pulse, we actually went up in to Pulse because of LPX. LPX actually literally just grabbed all those stable coins and started buying up UpX from the market. So it had these stable coins sitting there waiting for the dip. It sold gradually on the way up, and then when the market dumped, it literally just injected all those stable coins, rebought back UpX, and pushed up the price back to where it was before.
So now,
It doesn't push it exactly to where it was before, but it pushes it back up, and then the price gradually went back up, and we're very close to where it was from when it initially dumped.
yes.
And yeah, sorry.
So being in crypto since 2014, the 15, 16 was the year of the trading bots. And then, now we have the arbitrage bots and whatnot. What makes LPX different than that? And what are the risks involved in an impermanent loss situation? Because, it is, if something goes up and goes down, that's great. But if something goes up or just goes down, what's the risk here so that the end user can know what the risks are?
For we'll keep saying this again, any contract you get into, it's always contract risk. That's no matter what you do. Even a send on a wallet has a contract risk. You're using a contract to send your tokens.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm talking about market risk.
Yeah. Looking at how it's working now, because how it works is LPX, you're acting as a liquidity. So you're a liquidity. You have sort of like an internal price on your liquidity. And there's an arb bot would arb your liquidity to the market's liquidity. And the only person that can trade into your liquidity is the arb bot. So as the price goes up, and we have something called a no trade zone. A no trade zone is very similar to the
Stop
gap between two prices. Yeah, that's it. The two prices, the gap, the no trade zone. So it won't trade in this no trade zone. So if we have a 5% no trade zone and we're sitting at $1 and we're waiting and the price is going back up, it won't trade until it's at $1.05 because it won't trade in that no trade zone. So we sell at $1.05, but then if the price is coming back down, let's say it only did one sell, you have to wait until it goes back down 5% to rebuy. So you literally just sold at a high and rebuying at a low. And that's how the contract basically works. Simple terms.
Or a trading ceiling
Yeah.
that will
Yes.
into.
Now in permanent loss. Now
RG,
Yes.
how complicated was T-shares and Hex for the common user?
Oh, it was insane.
It was freaking. You felt like it's like shit. It was insanely complicated when it first came out. It's like, what the hell is this T-share thing? It took us probably months to figure that shit out.
Yep.
Well, LPX is going to have a small learning curve as well if you really want to understand how this functions. But if you just want to see this thing work, we have it on chain. People should go look at the transactions and the yield that it produces, because it is really amazing to watch this thing just generate. Last month alone, our LPX made about $8,000.
And you're not, LPX isn't that difficult. I mean, the T-share was something brand new that nobody's ever seen before. You guys are creating, a single-sided liquidity option for people that has a bot that's arbing their liquidity in and out of the system and through the market. And that's not too difficult to understand for those people who are a little more advanced and understand liquidity and trading and whatnot. So it's not anything new under the sun. You guys have just done what I keep saying crypto does. I keep trying to tell everybody that all of these things that we have before us now are not new. These are all things that have gone on in marketplaces for many, many, many years. We can automate them. We can tap into positive externalities, avoid negative externalities, and generate higher yield. I mean, look at you don't see in the fiat world people generating even 9, 10, 11, let alone 18, 30% APYs and whatnot. So it's a testament to what programmable currencies can do. So yeah, good job, guys. And
Agree. Yeah, I'll finish with this one thing. Arbitrage is all about inefficiencies in the market. The market's not efficient enough to balance out all the pools. So there's these opportunities, right? Everybody understands that. But to play that game takes immense amounts of computer software, and you gotta know what you're doing. So this is another one of them tools. The whales have used it forever, but they extract that value and they keep it, and they sometimes harm the market with that value they're extracting. This is a tool, that same tool given to the people, and then we're hoping that the people using this aren't nefarious, that as they generate this yield through capitalizing all these on all these market inefficiencies, that stays in the system now, instead of some big ARB company out there going into the mempool and looking at all the transactions and trying to do all the MEV stuff. This here, they still leave crumbs for us, and this allows us to scrape them crumbs up and keep them away from those guys who are nefarious and keep it in our system. So that's the big plus for LPX, in my view. We get to keep some of the yield that the ARB guys would have stolen from us, and who knows what they would have done with it.
I like that explanation.
You asked the question also, impermanent loss. And obviously, if the price goes up, there is impermanent loss. If it just goes up, if you have a chart that just goes up, you will see impermanent loss. Where a traditional LP, where you need to try to recoup your impermanent loss, which is almost, but it's still very low, is volume. Where in LPX, it's volatility. So the volatility of the price, because we have the no trade zone, just imagine, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. Even if the chart was going sideways and you were doing the sell high, buy low, you're actually in profits because of the volatility. Chart goes up, you're only selling. When the chart goes down, you're only buying. But you'll only be buying whatever you sold before, right? Because it's single-sided staking. And so what we've seen is very little to no impermanent loss. We're actually seeing impermanent gains. As Dave was saying, the last month, one LPX pool made $8,000 from a $2,000 investment.
Yeah, and
that's pretty good.
The way people should look at the impermanent loss situation, it's kind of to me, it's a bad word, because it's really a redemption. You're being redeemed. You're not being liquidated. You're being redeemed, and you're extracting the value through a single side. That you're going to miss gains. If it goes to the moon, you're going to miss gains, obviously. But you've extracted, and maybe it's an extraction strategy that people should think about, using it as an extraction strategy. Especially if something's looking like it's getting ready to run, or something's moving up. You can use it as an extraction strategy versus, hey, and of course, when things are running, flat, it's definitely a yield generating tool. When you've got volatility moving up and down through the range, then you're making money there. So I think that impermanent loss has always been kind of a bad name. It's really more of a redemption, where you're kind of cashing out and you're setting your level and
Yeah, but keep in mind that with LPX, we're actually seeing some impermanent gains, which is unheard of when it comes to liquidity providing, right? We're seeing that's a new made up word, because no one ever used impermanent gains. I don't know what the correct word is, but we're actually seeing permanent gains.
Yes. And it pushes the floor of the price. It pushes the floor price of your token up. It protects the shit out of your price. So not only is it giving the users a yield, it's taking that community. Let's say that the ink community decides to get behind this thing, and they put their ink in LPX. They will watch the floor price of their token ratchet up, because that's the way this thing is designed. So as soon as it sells it at a high, it ratchets up the floor. So it's going to buy at a higher low. And it just keeps ratcheting the floor price higher. LPX it's going to change crypto. You're going to watch people use this thing and just go crazy with the price appreciation we see on PulseChain because of LPX. Not because we're extracting value through yield, but because the way it's designed to ratchet up, the floor price gets higher and higher for every token that's in there.
Yeah, we've had LPX working for UpX since November. And if you look at the chart since November, you can actually see the difference in what LPX has done for the chart. And especially if you look at it in Pulse, you'll see it even further. It works. it's fucking amazing and it works, right? But obviously, me saying it works isn't enough. But so what David was saying, that it's ratcheting the floor, buying higher. So the no trade zone, it goes up when you start selling. So when it drops, it starts buying at a higher point as last time. And if it keeps going through this cycle of up and down, what it really is doing, it is supporting the price and moving it up slowly.
Yeah.
And you can see the proof in the pudding by looking at the chart of up and up X, and especially looking at it to pulse, because that's what we want. Well, me personally, I want more pulse. That's my goal. In the end of the day, I want more pulse. And if your dollar value could be going up, but the amount of pulse you're getting is definitely going down. A lot of people don't see that, but that happens many, many times in the chart. And I look at that. I look at the price of pulse a lot for any token. And with LPX, you actually can see a massive difference because of what LPX has done to up and up X.
RG,
Yeah.
I wanted to add something here to the conversation, which I think you work with a lot of founders, a lot of leaders on PulseChain. And the two utilities that we've been talking about could be very interesting for current and future founders. Let's take, for example, one of the, I think, big supporters of PulseChain Tour and this show is SolidX, right? We got the crash game that started at the very beginning. You could take a founder and they might have a lot of pulse that's doing nothing in their wallet. They could put it into Validator X and take a portion of that yield to buy and burn their token automatically. So you can have an automated buy and burn happening just by using their pulse on Validator X. On top of that, they could take a portion or a big portion or small portion of the tokens that they have of their own protocol, put it onto LPX, which will, guess what, begin to support the growth of their chart, in addition to making more and more yield for them that they can use in all kinds of ways. So these tools can also be used by leaders. They can be used by founders in very, very interesting ways. And I think that will be, if you have someone like SolidX who has 96% or 93% of the supply of SolidX, he could put those OA tokens to work on an LPX, which could be quite remarkable.
Just to add to that, Jay Gold, just so you know, the LPX positions that we have in up and up X with up X to die and up to die are the OA tokens, the BW tokens. We didn't put a single dollar, and it's actually helping the chart. We didn't put a single dollar. We actually used, or the OA used, the BW used the tokens, and used those tokens to support up and up X. And that's why we're seeing a difference in the chart. And we didn't have to, people didn't have to come and say, hey guys, let's try to get 50K in stable coins to try to support the chart. So you want to buy, you want to buy your token to support the chart, try to buy the dips or something like that. No, we actually used, or the BW and BWX used, Benevolent Wallet and Benevolent Wallet X.
ROA.
Used those tokens in LPX. And there was a massive difference. And those tokens were just sitting there doing nothing. Now it's supporting the price.
That I think is very interesting from a founder perspective, RG3. And you speak with a lot of founders, is how can they use their OA, their treasuries in intelligent ways to support the tokens that they are building or support the tokens that they love and stand behind. I think that's very, very, these two utilities are interesting. RG, I know we're running here, but there's a third utility called Loan X. Free disclosure, if you want to check out LPX, it's likely that testnet will be happening sometime in March. Just come to our Telegram. It's in your, I think it's in the pinned info, and you can check out LPX. LPX is not for up and up X. This is very important. It's for PulseChain, and it can be used by any person or founder. to support any token they want. It's not about up and up X. It's not about a coin. It's about PulseChain. Same with Validator X. It's not about a coin. There is no coin to buy on Validator X. LoanX, the same thing. This is a loan token that's going to fix one of the key issues that happens with loaning protocols. Dave, you want to talk about this briefly?
Yeah. We only have 2 tokens, Up and Up X, and if you want to buy them, that's great. We'd love to see you join our community. But if you don't, we have plenty of protocols that we want to see help improve PulseChain. That's what we're about. We win if PulseChain wins. Hopefully everybody in the community agrees with that sentiment. We need PulseChain to win, no matter what in the hell your token is. We want PulseChain to win. And so that's what we're building protocols for. And LoanX is going to be another one. We've seen the issues we've seen with the current lending protocols. And so the devs went out there, and with the knowledge they have and all of the power they have within their systems, it's like, you know what, we can build a lending protocol that any token can use this thing. And again, if SolidX wants to use their collateral, they can use it and they can mint their token. Now, a big component of that is that whole redemption shit that we deal with. LPX is going to help solve that. That's how powerful LPX is. A freaking game changer. People are going to actually open their eyes on this and say, this thing is going to save PulseChain. We don't have to wait 30 days for the SEC to do whatever the hell they're going to do. If we get people to use LPX, we're going to watch the prices ratchet up. And again, it's single-sided. If the SolidX guy throws his token in here, it's going to help his token. If the most guys, most wanted guys, you throw your freaking tokens in LPX, you're going to watch the price of the most token go higher. And you're not doing anything. You're not, like Content said, we're not asking you to come in with a fresh 50K to go support the price of your token. The LPX will do that for you. It's built to push the price of your token higher. It's designed that way. That's the ratchet up function of the LPX. So we encourage you to come look at the protocols we're building. And that's not it. We're also going to have OwnX. You're going to be able to take real world assets and bridge them in here. And again, it's not a token. We're not trying to get rich off of LPX or Validator X or OwnX or LoanX. We're providing protocols for the PulseChain community. We are building an entire ecosystem called PlusX. And hopefully we get some interest from people, and they come over and they take a look at some of the protocols we're offering for everybody, because this is really unique to PulseChain. We're not asking for your money. We're not asking you to support our freaking token. We got LPXs working just fine without your ass. But if you want to join us, you're welcome to join us, because I tell you what, we minted one UpX. It took one Pulse to get one UpX. That UpX is now worth 5.3 Pulse. I mean, as Pulse is ripping down and the market's red all across freaking crypto, our tokens are ripping because of the protocols we're building. We got a bunch of validators with a huge treasury. We got LPX running. You find us, you're going to love us. But
we've been sitting above sack rate for a while. If you think about it that way, like you could have extracted back up above sack rate. So we're doing really well with UpX and the ratio to Pulse. And that's the thing. And what I wanted to say with the top of what Dave's saying is that we're building tools, we're building things that people to use. Anyone on PulseChain to support their projects. Come use Validator X to continuously buy the project that you love. You might not be the founder, but you might love it, right? Like, for example, you might not be the founder, but you love it. You can get a group of people to come in and use the LPX to help support the price. You can be 100 little guys that become a whale and start supporting the price of most of ink or whatever to come and support the price. We're building tools for everyone to use.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and explaining yourself and explaining your protocols. They're very interesting to me. You're doing good work. You've been running for 6 months now. Well, you've launched it was the UpToken you launched 6 months ago, or was that LPX?
No, it's
2 years. We've been around for 2 years.
We launched on Ethereum.
Oh wait, RG3. We've been around since over 2 years.
PulseChain. PulseChain in September.
On PulseChain, Haunted. Our founder was around doing the first sacrifice over 2 years ago.
We're the team that pointed out to Richard that V1 was flawed and that the fees were not going to the liquidity providers. The fees were going to the buy and burn. So we're the team that pointed that out, and that's why we have a PulseX V2.
Nice.
We've been around forever, buddy.
Right on.
Yeah, so we launched UpToken on Ethereum because, you know, from the time we had the SAC to when we didn't know when PulseChain was going to launch.
Yeah.
And, you know, we like the freedom for people to do whatever they want with their own money. So we launched the UpToken there, and people, if they wanted to buy someone else's bag, they could. If someone wanted to sell, it's up to them, right? So we gave people that freedom. And then when PulseChain launched, the copy tokens over, we used those tokens. So those tokens that stayed, and we've just been going on from there. So the UpToken is actually a copy from ETH. UpX was launched on PulseChain
Gotcha.
over a year ago.
Gotcha. Right on. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Guys, this is your show. Anybody else want to come in and join, ask some questions, hang out, talk about some geopolitics or anything else? We're here for that. Or I appreciate you guys, coming in and talking and giving us a glimpse of who you are a little better here anyway.
Thank you.
On that
RG.
note, though, I have to jump off because I literally woke up, left the house, and my wife's going to shoot me if I don't go home and help her with the kids. She doesn't even know where I am. I'm like, I'll be back. Just don't call me. Don't bother me. And she's like, what about the kids? I'll be back. So I have to jump off.
Right on.
You know, family's always important. Always comes first. So I'm going to go back and just help the family. So I do have to jump off. I'll leave you with Dave and Jay Gold. Thank you very much for having me here,
Thanks,
Captain. And love your work. Thank you very much.
Take care and thank you. All right, guys. Any last words you want to drop on us before we close it out?
No, just appreciate you having us on, and hopefully we give enough information that people are intrigued and they actually want to go see what these protocols are all about. And again, not cost you anything to get educated, baby. Just come over here and just look and learn and join the Telegram. And if you like what you see, you might want to put some of your most token to work for you, or put your Hex to work in a different way. Instead of joining the Hex contract and getting the inflation, you might be able to beat that yield over here in LPX. So, and by being in here, you're helping the price of Hex.
Oh shit. What happened?
Dave is gone.
And he's gone. Oh, what the heck happened? I hope I didn't do that. Anyway, Jago, do you want to?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope to come back. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about leadership. Let's talk about personal growth. Let's talk about integrity. Let's talk about, what some of these wonderful themes that you brought up today.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. All right, my man. Well, you take care. Thanks for coming and thanks for supporting the PulseChain tour. You guys, I appreciate you guys doing that and coming and we got to watch your video and whatnot. So hope to see you guys there next year.
Thank you. Right, absolutely.
Guys. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for coming. We will catch you on the next one. Next week, what do we got going on? I forget what we got going on next week. But anyway, wait, there was one. Do we have somebody in the backstage here? I can't tell. SJ, is there somebody back there? Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. We will catch you next week. See ya. And thank you for coming to the PulseChain tour. Those of you that came, those of you who didn't, we have videos coming out for you. And, if you didn't catch today's stream, that was on onboarding. That was actually the panel that was there doing the onboarding panel. Kind of got a little messed up with the video, so we wanted to do a redo for you. And then the rest will be uploaded here in the next couple of days, if it's not already up there. All right, guys, have a good one. We will talk to you soon. See you.